Dave Parody here, and in this video I want to talk about this type of graph. It's a very typical type of graph I see in my financial viz training courses, a dual axis graph. In this particular case, we are on the left hand axis, we are measuring our net sales, those are the blue columns, and on the right hand axis, the orange line with those markers with the data labels, that's adjusted earnings before income and tax margin. And typically, dual axis graphs are used because we are having two data series that aren't measured in the same units, but they're related. Sales and margin are related, and we want to show them so that the audience can see, how are they related? And sometimes we're looking for correlation, but not always. The challenge is when you create this type of a graph in Excel, obviously the data overlaps, and sometimes actually it overlaps this way. And the challenge that I really have when you're using a dual axis graph that has lines is that you can manipulate the view of that line. This is that exact same graph. I've removed the data labels because I wanted to show you how the line can be very different. This is the exact same graph. Why is one line basically flat and the other one exaggerated? Because I simply changed the minimum and maximum of that axis that measures the line. And by doing that, I can manipulate it. So I really don't like graphs that can try to manipulate the audience. Here's what I suggest you do instead. Create a graph that is actually two graphs in one graph, where we can compare these values that are related to each other, do it in a way that helps us tell that story to the executives. So over this time period, first thing, let's take a look at net sales. So we see net sales certainly increased early in our 2021-2022 fiscal year and has remained fairly consistent since then. But then when we take a look at our adjusted EBIT margin, we can see that there has been a decrease in our margin. And now we need to talk about the decline in the margin. So this is all created using just one graph that was created in Excel. And it allows us to tell the story. If that story needed to be a line, well, you can do that as well. This is the exact same type of a graph. It's just a line instead of a set of columns at the top there. And yes, this is all created in Excel. So here's the Excel sheet with the first graph and the second graph. So this is the type of content that I go through when I create and deliver my customized financial viz training courses for financial and business professionals. We talk about their existing data and how we can visualize it in a way that executives understand and act on it. If that's of interest to you, get in touch. We can talk about customizing a course for your group and the types of messages you need to communicate.